ex said I'd never find better, so I married his brother. Ethan dumped me via text while I was at my grandmother's funeral. The message came right as I was giving her eulogy. We're done. You're too emotional, and I need someone more stable. His twin brother, Lucas, drove 3 hours to be my +1 because Ethan claimed he was too busy with work. I'd been with Ethan for 4 years of him calling me dramatic whenever I cried, needy whenever I wanted quality time, and exhausting whenever I shared problems. I thought that was normal. Like, honestly, I figured every relationship was like that, you know? That I was just being too sensitive or whatever. Lucas and I had always been friendly at family gatherings. But that day, something shifted. He stayed by my side through every condolence, handled relatives asking where Ethan was, and didn't leave until I was okay. While I was burying my grandmother, Ethan was posting Instagram stories from some rooftop party. I remember seeing his face pop up on my phone screen, literally grinning with a cocktail, while I was literally trying to hold myself together in front of my entire family. Over the next month, Lucas kept checking in. Not romantically, just making sure I was eating, sleeping, functioning. He'd drop off groceries with little notes like, "Your favorite ice cream was on sale." He remembered I was lactose intolerant, which Ethan forgot constantly despite dating me for years. I mean, the man bought me dairy products for my birthday, 4 years straight. Meanwhile, Ethan was already dating someone new, a yoga instructor named Serenity, who apparently never had bad days. He kept posting about how peaceful his life had become and how some people just bring chaos wherever they go. Every single post felt like a jab at me, you know? Like he was basically saying I was the problem the whole time. Lucas started inviting me to trivia nights with his coworkers. I discovered he was actually the funny twin. Ethan just repeated all his jokes and took credit. Lucas remembered my coffee order, my work schedule, even my cat's vet appointments. All the things Ethan had stopped caring about. It was honestly kind of shocking how much Lucas actually paid attention. During one particularly hard night, Lucas showed up at my door at 2 a.m. with Chinese takeout and my favorite terrible reality show. We talked until sunrise about everything. My grandmother, my fears, my dreams, things I'd stopped sharing with Ethan because he always made me feel silly. Lucas just sat there and listened, actually listened, without checking his phone or changing the subject. The night Lucas kissed me, he apologized immediately, said he'd been fighting his feelings for months. But watching Ethan treat me like I was disposable made him realize he couldn't stay quiet anymore. "I'm sorry," he said, looking genuinely panicked. "That was completely inappropriate. I can't keep pretending I don't care about you." We started dating in secret. Lucas didn't want family drama, and neither did I. But keeping it hidden was torture. Every family dinner, pretending we were just friends, while Ethan made snide comments about his upgrade. He'd literally say stuff like, "Serenity never complains about anything. It's so refreshing being with someone positive for once." Everything exploded at their mom's birthday dinner 6 months later. Ethan brought Serenity and Lucas invited me as a friend. All night, Ethan kept saying I was probably still crying about us and some people just can't move on. Their mom mentioned Lucas seemed happy lately. Maybe he'd found someone special. Ethan laughed and said Lucas needed to stop being so picky or he'd end up alone like me, who couldn't handle real life. He was literally using me as the punchline to his jokes right there at the dinner table, like I wasn't even a human being sitting 5 feet away from him. That's when Lucas snapped. He stood up so fast his chair scraped against the floor, loud enough that everyone went quiet. He pulled out a ring box and said, "You mean the woman you dumped at her grandmother's funeral?" Lucas said, "The one you mocked for crying while burying her last living parent." Ethan looked like someone had punched him. The room went dead quiet, like you could hear the air conditioning humming. That's how silent it got. "You called her too emotional. I call her brave. You said she was exhausting. I've never met someone more full of life." He turned to me, pulled the ring from his pocket, and dropped to one knee. "You're not too much. You were never too much. You were just with someone who couldn't meet you where you are. Marry me." Ethan's face went through 17 different expressions: confusion, shock, betrayal, rage. His jaw literally hit the floor. I swear to God I thought he was going to start crying or flip the table or something. Serenity asked who I was. When Ethan stammered my ex-girlfriend, she immediately wanted to know why he'd called me pathetic, if I was obviously incredible enough for his brother to propose to. Lucas said watching Ethan lose me was his wake-up call, that I deserved someone who saw my emotions as depth, not drama. The whole family cheered. Their mom hugged me and said she'd always hoped I'd be her daughter-in-law, just thought it would be with the other son. She actually started crying happy tears and kept saying, "Finally, finally." Ethan pulled out a key. "I still have your apartment key. I never gave it back." My stomach dropped. Lucas stepped forward. "What did you just say?" Ethan kept talking like he couldn't stop. I went there twice after we broke up just to sit on your couch. You weren't home. He looked at me almost apologetically. I watered your plants. Fed your cat once when you were out of town. I knew your schedule. Lucas grabbed my hand. We're leaving right now. The ride back to my apartment was tense. Lucas kept his hands white-knuckled on the steering wheel, jaw clenched so tight I thought he might crack a tooth. He had your key this whole time, he muttered. That's so messed up. What else did he do? I don't know, I said quietly, my mind spinning. The thought of Ethan just letting himself into my place, sitting on my furniture, going through my stuff while I wasn't there, it made my skin crawl. Lucas, what if he made copies? We're changing the locks tonight, Lucas said firmly. I don't care if we have to call an emergency locksmith at midnight. He doesn't get to have access to you anymore. We did exactly that. Called a 24-hour locksmith who showed up at 11 p.m. and changed every lock on my apartment door. Lucas insisted on staying over, said he wanted to make sure I felt safe. I appreciated it, honestly. The thought of being alone after finding out Ethan had been coming and going from my place like he still lived there was freaking me out. Around 1 a.m., we were in the kitchen making tea because neither of us could sleep. Lucas opened the drawer next to the stove and pulled out scissors without even looking. Need to cut the tag off this, he said, gesturing to the new keychain the locksmith had given us. I froze. How did you know the scissors were in that drawer? He looked up confused. What? You just opened the right drawer, on the first try. You didn't even ask where they were. Lucas laughed, but something about it sounded off. I've been here dozens of times. I know where you keep stuff. Lucas, I crossed my arms. You've been inside my apartment exactly 3 times. The night you brought Chinese food last week when you helped me move my bookshelf. And right now, you've never been in my kitchen alone. Ever. He went quiet for a second, then shrugged. I mean, I've been here more than that. You probably just don't remember. I definitely would remember. Okay, well, he put the scissors back and closed the drawer. Maybe Ethan told me about your place? We used to talk, you know, before everything. That made sense, I guess. But it still felt weird. I decided to let it go because we were both exhausted and paranoid after everything that happened at dinner. A few days later, I was on the phone with Lucas talking about maybe repainting some rooms, trying to make the place feel more like mine and less like a space Ethan used to inhabit. I'm thinking about doing the bedroom, I said. Something brighter? Don't paint the bedroom, Lucas said immediately. The light blue is perfect for you. I pulled the phone away from my ear and stared at it. Lucas, my bedroom is green. Silence on the other end. It's been green since I moved in, I continued. Dark green, like forest green. There's no blue anywhere. Oh, he sounded genuinely confused. Ethan must have described it wrong then. He said it was blue. Why would Ethan describe my bedroom to you? I don't know. We talked about you sometimes. Lucas changed the subject quickly. Anyway, what color were you thinking? I could help you paint this? Weekend. I let it slide. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. That night I called my best friend Jamie and told her everything. The scissors, the bedroom color, the way Lucas seemed to know things he shouldn't. Okay, you're spiraling, Jamie said. I mean, Lucas could just be mixing up details. Or maybe Ethan really did talk about your apartment. They're brothers. They probably talked about you more than you think. But he's never been in my bedroom, Jamie. Are you sure? Maybe he used your bathroom once and glanced in? I thought about it. My bathroom was across from my bedroom, and I usually kept the door open. I guess that's possible. Look, Jamie said gently, I think you're looking for problems because you're scared of being happy after Ethan. Ethan really did a number on you, right? Made you think you were too much, too emotional, too everything. And now you have this amazing guy who loves you exactly as you are, and you're terrified it's too good to be true. She had a point. I'd been in survival mode for so long with Ethan, constantly walking on eggshells, constantly worried I was being too needy or too dramatic. Maybe I was self-sabotaging now that I had someone who actually treated me well. You're probably right, I admitted. I know I am, Jamie said. Lucas is a good one. Don't mess this up by being paranoid. 2 weeks later, Lucas suggested we move in together. We were at his place, and he just kind of brought it up casually while we were watching TV. I've been thinking, he said. Why don't you move in here? Or we could get a new place together. Start fresh. That's a big step, I said slowly. I know, but I want to protect you from Ethan. You saw how he acted at dinner. What if he tries something? What if he still has a key we don't know about? Lucas looked genuinely worried. I just want to know you're safe. Is that so wrong? When he put it that way, I felt guilty for hesitating. Here was this man who loved me, who wanted to take care of me, and I was being weird about it. I just need some time to think about it, I said. His expression shifted, not angry exactly, but hurt. I'm trying to help you and you won't let me. It's like you don't trust me or something. That's not it. I just forget it. He stood up and walked to the kitchen. I shouldn't have asked. I felt terrible. Lucas had been nothing but good to me, and here I was making him feel bad for caring. Okay, I called after him. Let's do it. Let's move in together. He turned around, face brightening immediately. Really? Yeah, you're right. Fresh start. That weekend, I started packing up my apartment. I was going through my closet when I found one of my favorite hoodies, this gray one with a coffee stain on the sleeve that I'd never been able to get out. I've been looking for it for weeks. But here's the thing. I found it folded neatly in a box Lucas had brought over from his place. Hey! I called out. Lucas was in the living room taking apart my bookshelf. Did you grab my hoodie by mistake? He came to the bedroom doorway. Which one? I held it up. This one. It was in your box. Oh yeah, you left it at my place last time you stayed over. I've never worn this to your place, Lucas. I've been looking for it for like a month. I thought I lost it. He frowned, thinking, you must have. I found it in my laundry. I've only slept at your apartment twice, and both times I brought my overnight bag with specific clothes. This wasn't one of them. Well, I don't know what to tell you. He went back to the bookshelf. It was at my place, so you must have left it. But I knew I didn't. I knew exactly which clothes I'd brought to Lucas's place, because I'd been so nervous about staying over that I'd planned my outfits days in advance. This hoodie had never left my apartment. I stared at it, my hands shaking slightly. How did Lucas have my hoodie? The next day, I did something I probably shouldn't have done. I went to Ethan's apartment. I know. But I needed answers, and Ethan was the only other person who'd had access to my place. He answered the door looking surprised. What are you doing here? I need to talk to you about the key and about Lucas. Ethan let me in, which surprised me. His apartment was a mess, dirty dishes everywhere, laundry piled on the couch. Serenity was nowhere to be seen. We broke up, he said, following my gaze. Turns out she wasn't so zen when I told her about still having your key. Ethan, I need you to be honest with me. When you went to my apartment, what did you do? He sat down heavily on the couch. I just sat there mostly. I know how pathetic that sounds. I'd sit on your couch and think about all the times we watched movies there. Sometimes I'd make coffee in your kitchen. Once I fed your cat because I saw his bowl was empty and I knew you were at work. Did you take anything? What? No? He looked genuinely offended. I'm not a thief. I just wanted to feel close to you again. Did Lucas ever ask you about my apartment? About where I kept things, what color my rooms were, stuff like that? Ethan's expression changed, got serious. Why are you asking me this? Just answer the question. He was quiet for a long moment. Lucas has always wanted what I have, even when we were kids. If I got a new toy, he'd throw a fit until he got the same one. If I joined a sport, he'd join too and try to be better than me. When I started dating you, he asked about you constantly. What you liked, what you didn't like, what made you happy. That could just be him being interested in his brother's life. It wasn't. Ethan leaned forward. 2 years ago, he broke into my apartment and read my journal. I know because he confronted me about stuff I'd only written down, never said out loud. Pages about you, about how I was scared I was losing you, about how I didn't know how to be what you needed. My chest felt tight. Why didn't you tell me? Because you would have thought I was making it up to drive a wedge between you and my family. And honestly, I thought I was being paranoid, but now you're here asking me about him, so I'm guessing I wasn't wrong. He's obsessed with winning, Ethan continued. It's not about you, not really. It's about beating me. You were mine, so now he wants you to be his. And he won't stop until he completely has you. I wanted to call him a liar, to storm out and never speak to him again. But something about the way he said it, the sadness in his voice, made me hesitate. I made a lot of mistakes with you, Ethan said quietly. I took you for granted. I made you feel like your emotions were a burden when they weren't. Breaking up with you was the biggest mistake of my life, and I know I don't deserve a second chance. But please, be careful with Lucas. He's not who you think he is. I left without saying anything else. In my car, I sat for 20 minutes just trying to process everything. I couldn't tell what was real anymore. Was Ethan telling the truth, or was he just trying to break us up? Was Lucas really obsessed, or was I letting Ethan get in my head? I decided to test it, just a small test. The next day I told Lucas I needed to visit my mom for the weekend. She's been asking me to come up and help her with some stuff around the house. I lied. My mom lived 3 hours away. Lucas's face immediately tensed. This weekend? But we were going to look at apartments. I know, I'm sorry, but my mom really needs me. Can it wait? He was trying to sound casual, but I could hear the edge in his voice. We have the realtor appointment. We can reschedule. My mom is more important. He went went quiet for a second, then nodded. Okay, send me pictures of where you are so I know you got there safe. Lucas, it's a 3-hour drive. I'll be fine. I just worry about you. He kissed my forehead. Text me when you get there? I said I would. But instead of driving to my mom's, I went to Jamie's apartment across town and spent the weekend there. I sent Lucas pictures, but they were old photos from my mom's house that I had saved on my phone. Pictures of her garden, her living room, nothing that showed me actually being there. Lucas texted me constantly, every hour asking how I was, what I was doing, if my mom was treating me okay. At one point he sent, "Can you send me a picture of you? I miss your face." I sent him an old selfie from my camera roll. He didn't notice it was old, or if he did, he didn't say anything. On Sunday, I told him I was heading back. When I got to my apartment, Lucas was already there waiting in the parking lot. "What are you doing here?" I asked, genuinely surprised. "I missed you." He hugged me tight. "I couldn't wait until tomorrow to see you." "That's sweet, but you didn't have to come all the way here." I wanted to. Here's what bothered me. The pictures I sent him weren't actually from my mom's house. They were from Jamie's house. And Lucas didn't notice. He didn't notice they were the wrong house because he was either tracking me a different way or he was pretending not to notice to avoid showing his hand. That night, we got into a fight. Nothing major, just him asking me again about moving in together and me saying I needed more time. But then he kept pushing, asking why I was hesitating, if I was having second thoughts about us. "I just need space to think," I said. "Space from me?" He looked hurt. "I'm your fiancé. We're supposed to be planning a future together and you want space?" "That's not what I meant." "Then what did you mean?" His voice was getting louder. "Because it sounds like you're pulling away from me and I don't understand why. I'd never seen him like this." Lucas was always so calm, so understanding, but now his eyes were wet and he was shaking. And then he broke down crying, full-on sobbing, the kind where you can barely breathe. "I'm sorry," he gasped. "I'm sorry, my ex-fiancé cheated on me and disappeared. I'm terrified of losing someone again. I can't go through that again." I immediately felt like garbage. Here I was, testing him and being paranoid, when he was just scared because of his past trauma. "Tell me about her," I said softly, sitting down next to him. Lucas took a shaky breath and pulled out his phone. He showed me messages from someone named Jenna, texts where she said she couldn't handle his intensity anymore, that she felt suffocated, that she needed to disappear and start over. The messages were brutal. "She said I was too much," Lucas said bitterly, "that I cared too much, texted too much, wanted to know where she was too much. She made me feel like I was crazy for just wanting to be close to her." The messages looked real. The hurt in his voice sounded real. I held him while he cried and felt horrible for doubting him. "I want to fix this," I told him. "Whatever you need from me, I'll do it. Maybe we should try couples counseling?" His head snapped up. "No, just to work through some of this anxiety and no therapists." His voice was firm. "Therapists always side with women. Jenna tried to get me to go to therapy with her, and the therapist spent the whole time making me out to be the villain. I'm not doing that again." "But Lucas, we both have stuff to work through. It might help." I said no. He stood up. "You don't get it. They gaslit me. Jenna and that therapist, they made me think I was the problem when all I was doing was loving her. I'm not going to let that happen again." The way he framed it made me hesitate. He was protecting himself from being manipulated again. That made sense, right? "Okay," I said quietly. "No therapy." Over the next few weeks, I noticed myself changing. Small things at first. I started keeping my location on all the time without him even asking. I'd see his text come through and drop everything to respond immediately, because I knew if I waited too long, he'd start worrying. I stopped making plans without telling him first. Stopped going out with friends unless he knew exactly where I was and when I'd be back. It was like I was managing his anxiety for him, and I didn't even realize I was doing it until Jamie pointed it out. "You literally just checked your phone mid-sentence," she said during lunch. "Is Lucas texting you again? He just likes to know I'm okay. You've been here for 20 minutes. Why does he need to know you're okay? You're a grown woman." He worries. "So did Ethan," Jamie said carefully. "In different ways, but it's the same thing. You're changing yourself to avoid setting off someone else's emotions. You did this with Ethan, and now you're doing it with Lucas." I wanted to argue with her, but I couldn't. She was right. I was doing the exact same thing I'd done in my last relationship, just for different reasons. With Ethan, it was to avoid being called dramatic. With Lucas, it was to avoid triggering his abandonment issues. But the result was the same. I was shrinking myself. That night, Lucas and I went to a family dinner, just a casual thing at his mom's house. But while we were there, his mom pulled me aside in the kitchen. "I'm so glad Lucas found you," she said, smiling warmly. "After that disaster with Jenna, my ears perked up." "What happened with Jenna exactly?" Her smile faded slightly. She tried to turn my boys against each other. Said Lucas was obsessive, said Ethan was enabling him. It was a whole mess. She patted my hand. But that's all in the past now. Did she say why she thought Lucas was obsessive? Oh, you know how young people are these days. Everyone has anxiety, everyone has trauma, everyone's a victim. She waved her hand dismissively. She couldn't handle Lucas's love, that's all. Some women just can't appreciate a man who cares. She walked away before I could ask anything else, leaving me standing there with my thoughts racing. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about what Ethan said, about what his mom said, about the hoodie in the bedroom and the scissors. Finally, I just asked him, "Lucas, tell me about Jenna." He was scrolling through his phone, but looked up when I said her name. "What about her?" "Your mom said she tried to turn you and Ethan against each other." Lucas set his phone down. Jenna was unstable. She had a lot of mental health issues that she refused to address. Toward the end, she got really paranoid, started accusing me and Ethan of conspiring against her, said we were both tracking her and going through her stuff. It was honestly really sad to watch. What kind of stuff did she accuse you of? Showing up places she didn't tell me about? Knowing things I shouldn't know? Going through her apartment when she wasn't home? He shook his head. Her therapist fed into it, told her she should trust her gut. By the end, she was completely convinced Ethan and I were working together to gaslight her. My blood ran cold. "Were you?" Lucas looked at me sharply. "Are you serious right now?" "I'm just asking." No, we weren't. She was paranoid and unwell, and instead of getting help, she disappeared in the middle of the night. Left me a note saying she couldn't tell what was real anymore. He stood up. "I can't believe you're asking me this. Do you think I'm lying?" "I didn't say that." "But you're thinking it. I can see it on your face." He grabbed his jacket. "You know what? I need some air. I'll be back later." He left, and I sat there alone in my apartment, my mind spinning. The way Lucas described Jenna's paranoia sounded exactly like what I was feeling. Was I being paranoid? Or was this what Lucas did? Made you feel crazy for noticing things that were actually happening? I couldn't tell anymore. I couldn't tell what was real, but I knew one thing for sure. I was changing myself to manage Lucas's emotions, and that wasn't sustainable. Whether he was dangerous or just traumatized, the result was the same. I was losing myself trying to make him feel secure. 3 days later, I made my decision. I couldn't prove Lucas was dangerous. I couldn't prove he was tracking me or lying or manipulating me, but I also couldn't prove he wasn't. And the fact that I was constantly walking on eggshells, constantly checking my phone, constantly managing his anxiety, that was enough. I called him and asked him to come over. When he arrived, I was sitting on the couch with a ring box on the coffee table. "What's going on?" he asked, eyeing the box. "I can't marry you, Lucas." His face went white. "What? Why?" "I'm not ready for marriage, but we've been planning this. We've been looking at apartments, talking about the future. You said yes." "I know, and I'm saying I need to take a step back. This is about what I said about Jenna, isn't it? You think I'm lying? I think you're dealing with a lot of trauma, and I think I'm dealing with a lot of trauma, and I think we're not good for each other right now. That's not true. We're perfect for each other. I love you more than Ethan ever did. I see you for who you really are. Lucas, I'm not giving you detailed reasons because I know you'll have an answer for everything. I know you'll explain away every concern, every doubt, every red flag. And maybe you're right. Maybe I am being paranoid, but I'm changing myself to manage your emotions, and I can't do that anymore." He stared at me for a long moment, and I watched something shift in his expression. The hurt, the confusion, it all melted away, and what was left was something colder. "You'll regret this," he said quietly. "You'll realize I was the best thing that ever happened to you, and by then, it'll be too late." He picked up the ring box and walked out. I sat there in the silence of my apartment, listening to his footsteps fade down the hallway. My hands were shaking, my heart was pounding. I had no idea if I'd just made the biggest mistake of my life, or if I just saved myself from something worse than Ethan. I picked up my phone and called Jamie. I ended it with Lucas. "Thank God," she breathed. "Are you okay?" "I don't know," I admitted. "Ask me in a year." I hung up and sat there, alone in my apartment with all the locks changed, staring at the drawer where Lucas had known the scissors were kept. Thanks for watching till the end. Make sure to like and subscribe to not miss the next story.